Hi everyone, Ian from DIY Home and Gardening. Bit of a gardening technique type video, pruning, tying, training of the blackberry Wichita that I've got. Obviously it applies to all blackberries. So we are into October now, so autumn gardening jobs, and I'd realised actually that whilst I've shown how to do the tying in and talk through about the variety specifically, last year I wasn't really in the position to show how to actually do the tying in and pruning and removal, I suppose, of previous season's growth. So yeah, that's essentially what this video is going to be about, is what to remove, how to remove it, and then subsequent tying for the forthcoming season. Right, here we are, we're middle of October and I'm down with the blackberry variety Wichita. So you can see that, having taken off the protective netting that was been stopping all the birds from getting the fruit, has kind of released these triffid sections. So these long pieces here are all of this year's growth, so they have not produced any flower or any fruit for this year. You can now see the pieces that have fruited this year, and so they were the ones that I tied in at the end of last year and the start of this year. So yeah, that's how we got our frame, was getting the main sections, tying them in on these horizontal sections of wire. So that was done in the autumn of last year, and in the spring of this year all the vertical pieces were then tied in, and that's what's fruited. So as I say, we are now into the autumn, and what we've got to do is start pruning all of this old material out. You can see that these fruiting stems have already started dying back. So essentially everything that was the old framework has got to be cut off, removed and got rid of, and that will leave all this fresh growth to then tie in and start the fresh framework with. So basically, yeah, let's get going and cut all this lot off. So as you can see, I've cut out most of it, all the old stuff there. Just got these last couple of pieces left to do. So where do you cut this to? Right, let's just get rid of these last couple of ties. What I tend to do is, depending on the stem, I'll cut somewhere 4 to 6 inches above ground level. No real reason why I do it that way. If you look in sort of the books, then they always say cut down to ground, but I just tend to leave a bit of a gap from the ground. Just really, I don't know, I suppose I always have done. I tend to think that you leave something, it sort of encourages it to try and grow. If it doesn't, then when you get to the next bit, you have a dead section that you can then just pull out anyway. So we've cut that down, cut off the ties, and that is the last piece to remove. And then what I would say, whilst you've got your frame empty, it's worth just running along and retighten your wires. As you can see, they have got a bit of slack in them, so it's worth tightening it up again, and then it's all set, ready to put this new lot on. So that's what I should do now. Right, so we've tightened up the wire as best can do without putting loads and loads of tension on it. Now the thing next to do is tie these in. Now when you're looking at the newer sections, you can see that this one is already going that way, there's no way you're going to be able to get it to bend the other way. So work with what they're naturally doing. Likewise, this one, although it's going one way, you will be able to bend it a little bit. I quite often find that it's easier to have all the stems going one direction initially, so travel one way, and then as you get to the ends you then bend them back on themselves. Just tends to make it a little bit easier to manage. So strange as it happens, this year they were all travelling left to right, and for next year looks like they're all going to be travelling right to left. So that's what I'll start doing, is we start at far end, tie that in and start looping back, and then do the subsequent sections. What I would say, whilst you're working through, it's a good opportunity and a good idea to check for any damaged sections. So that has got a split through it, so when we come to do the tying in, that piece there will have to be removed, as you don't want any damaged split sections, because they will harbour pest and disease, and short term you probably get away with it, but longer term you'll find that those pests and diseases will damage or kill off your plant. So be a little bit ruthless as you go. And likewise, well, I don't know if you can tell from here, that's got a damaged section at the top, so we'll remove that at the same time. But yeah, need to start that end. Right, just thought I'd show you the first stem before the light levels drop too much for filming. So you can see it comes up, across, on the horizontal, tied all the way along, and then what I do when you just get to the very last section, and it's not going to grow anymore now, just take the tip out, and that will then encourage next year for it to then go into its growth to put on the side shoots that will bear the fruit. So first stem done. Now repeat the same process with all the others, and ideally what I'm aiming to do is get all the shoots tied in no higher than about this sort of level, because that will then allow for all the side shoots to then come up and give me a finishing height to the top of the frame. So yeah, tie in as low as possible and finish on that height if you need to, and ideally we want to get it so got fairly uniform bend to them, and as we end up coming further this way we'll be able to get our bends or our arcs coming in to come onto a lower wire. So that's what need to crack on with, and I might end up having to finish this off tomorrow morning. Right, back out here this morning. It's particularly cold, but just ploughing on. So I've done that back section, as you can see, and we end up with sort of this no man's land, if you like. So what I'm going to start doing next is essentially leave that middle bit till I kind of know where it's going to go, and I'll take this limb here and start it so it will then curve up and occupy this space, and then that way I can do those couple of those three sections come in this way into this second half of the frame, if you like, and then those last stems will tie in kind of where they tie in, but at the moment these bits are almost in the way, so I'm going to tackle those now. Right, finally all tied in and finished. It's not the prettiest at the moment, but it will infill quite nicely. Now I have pulled off some of the lower leaves, as you can see, and they'll all be scooped up, got rid of. Now one thing I should say is that you need to make sure that as these leaves drop you collect them up and get rid of them, because as we are now into the autumn, and you can see that speckling there, that is actually caused by that little creature there, which is a thrip, and if you don't get rid of your leaves then they will overwinter within the leaf matter that drops to the floor, and then you'll have leaf thrip again come spring, summer, and they actually cause quite a bit of damage to your fruits. So yeah, it's not a problem at the moment, but get rid of your leaves and then you won't have any issues next spring again. So yeah, for now that's it, finished. That's as much as we can do, so job done. Okay, so hope you liked the video. Yeah, it's quite straightforward really, as well, as simple as a lot of tying in videos are. If you do have any questions, not sure about anything, then please send me a message and I'll do my best to answer the question for you. In the meantime, thanks for subscribing. Hope you like what I'm doing. Don't forget to hit that reminder button so you don't miss out on the future videos that I'm doing. And keep getting out in the garden whilst the weather's on our side and jobs to do, and have fun. And till next time, see you soon. Bye for now.